Should I do one of these? Should I pull a Lane Kiffin? Well, it was great to get a win. First thing I want to do is compliment our student section. In my 3 years or 2 years in pregame, they were into it. They were in their seats early, and I guarantee you it matters to our football players. You know, when they come out of the tunnel and they feel that support behind them, and they look down to the left from our sideline and they see the student section full. That's a big deal for us. So. Uh, just want to make sure that we acknowledge that it's that's their classmates. So fantastic, appreciate it very much. And I know that Neil and everyone else had a lot to do with that, just promoting this game, and Dom and everybody. So it's a big deal for us. But it was good to get a win. I like the way we started, uh, especially on offense. We came out and we were able to get some big plays out of players that we're depending on to make big plays as this season goes on. I thought Joe did a really nice job. We ran the ball well. We've got some playmakers that can go do some things. Defensively, we're still a work in progress. Um, we still got to become better tackling football. I think that we're still adapting to the scheme a little bit, but we have to make huge progress. We have to make it like right now. We can't come in and say more. And I know our guys are working towards doing that. We've got field goals. We have tons of confidence in Chris. I think Chris is a good kicker. I think we pushed on. So, that's something we've got to do. We've got to Chris to do that, and I'm confident that he'll do that. My disappointment would be the second half after the last touchdown. Uh, I felt like we got a little bit complacent when we put some young guys in, and we can't operate that way. There's going to come a time this year when we're going to count on young guys to win a game. And they have to be able to step in and play at the same level of intensity, passion, emotion, and execution level that the staff is playing at. And so, but that being said, it was good to get those guys time, and so that they can see that and they can learn from it. And then, getting Tucker some snaps, getting Cole some snaps. Got some stops on defense. We've gotten those guys more snaps, which is what we needed. But I also didn't want to take Joe out of the game until we got a second half touchdown. So that was the thinking there. But all in all, we'll take a win. We've got a guess this week. It's been quite a while. This program has gone on the road and beat a power conference team. And it's going to be a really tough task at Duke. They're 2-0. They're a good team. They've got a quarterback who transferred from Texas, who's a really good player. So it's going to be a great challenge. And then I also just want to end by paying my respects to Merrimack and the way that they played and the physicality with which they played with and the way that they kept fighting even when the score got a little bit out of touch. They're out of control there. We've been in that spot before. We know what it feels like. And so ton of respect to their staff and their players for the way they continue to fight.
Well, what is the next situation?
Joe was very calm. Joe read out his progressions. Joe threw the ball with accuracy. Joe ran the ball. Won some first downs, made some plays, got us a second short run of the ball. So I was very pleased with his performance. Like I said, wanted to give him a couple series in the second half and see if we could get him, not to try to score or anything. I don't even doing that, but trying to just get him, one more successful drive. And Nick's situation will be evaluated daily by our medical staff. Well, yeah, that's what you need. When you don't have to grind it out for every touchdown, then that's a great thing. When you have some guys who can get the ball in their hand and go do it themselves. As a coach, you drop the perfect play, but your objective always is to get the ball to your playmakers in space and let them use their natural ability to go make some, great plays, make something great happen. And I think we saw that out of a number of players today. And we've got to build on it. We've got to be just a 1 week wonder. It's got to be something we continue to emphasize and get production out of. Well, in the time that I've been here, we haven't made it through 2 weeks without losing a quarterback. And Joe came in and he competed really hard, but we ended up giving the job to Nick. And at no time at all, at least in front of me or his teammates, did I ever see him pout. Did I ever see him acting it with bad body language? Did I ever hear him say anything negative? All I saw was a guy that just kept his eyes right on the target, which I'm always going to be prepared to go in and play. And when you have guys that have that attitude and the selflessness that he showed, that permeates the team because no one always concentrates on the quarterback decision. Understandably so, he's the trigger man. And if you have a guy that's going to pout, he's going to be a locker room lawyer, and he's going to cause dissension. And you say, "Well, I don't know why they didn't choose me." It can pull your team apart. When you got a guy like Joe, opposite, just the opposite. And that's what we expected of Joe. That's very good for your football team. He's a pro. He's a mature individual. He cares about this team. His teammates trust him, um, and he was ready to go. He was ready to go last week. He was ready to go today, and he'll continue to be ready to go. That's just who Joe is. And that's one of the things we love about him. I'm not one of those hey, it's 0-0 kind of guy. I'm like, listen, we've done good things to get to this point. Let's continue to do them. It's very objective. I'm just objective. I think we need to do better. You know, that's just the worst thing you can do as a coach is start looking at the scoreboard. The worst thing you can do as a player is start looking at the scoreboard because it's a factor that can have an influence on the way you play, and it never should. And so, if you want to be a good football team, if you want to be a good football player, if you want to be a good football coach, you worry about and you concentrate on things you can control, and that's you don't look at the scoreboard. And that was one of the messages: is you don't look at the scoreboard. We played our standard, regardless. We've been in a lot of those games where we're behind, right? Against some really good teams, and it's got to be the same attitude. Ahead, behind, play a certain brand of football, a certain style, a certain standard that you're responsible to. I didn't know that. Well, I felt like last week our offense wasn't terrible. I felt like defensively we weren't good, but I saw sparks on offense, things that I liked. We just didn't get enough opportunities. We didn't convert a couple third downs that could have kept the drives alive. Things, we held ourselves back. But I've had a feeling since, we came out of the portal period that we had some playmakers on offense. When you add guys like Skyler and you add guys like TJ and Ezariah and Josiah, and you add guys like Mel, and you add guys like Shamar Porter, and you add guys like Darrell, you add a guy like Nick. Uh, those guys, we added them because we felt like they were playing, and they did it today. Scott did it last week, this week. Now we just got consistent basis against a really good team this week. You guys watching stuff, really good. And so we can't become satisfied with today. We have to push for more. But it's nice to feel like there's depth and guys that can make plays. And I didn't even mention, Brock Montgomery, who I think is going to be a really good football player for us. Well, they were more consistent, and their protection was good. We missed some things. We ran some things on our outside zone stuff. We're never going to be completely satisfied. You're never going to play a perfect game, but all in all, yeah, they played with physicality, precision. They did a good job in protection, and we'll clean up the things that we didn't do well enough. But I like our offensive line. There's Christian Haynes and some of those guys, yeah, but these guys that are stepping in are doing a good job, and we got a tall task this week.
Product more talented than an FBS team or that's really what I was.
Well, listen, there's levels, right? And we have more resources than a team like Merrimack, and they, they do a great job there. I mean, it's a good program, right? I mean, they look coming off the bus, they look better than I thought they were physically. They play hard, they play fair, they play tough. Um, but this program, thanks to David, and 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 been able to do in IL space, we've been able to add some players, right? And when you have talent wins in sports. Talent is what wins. Coaching's overrated. Talent wins. And so I'm not saying coaching doesn't matter. It does. Putting those players in place matters. But, getting the ball to talented guys that can do things on their own, really not athlete guy, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to scheme space. You're trying to scheme to get guys into space so they can just use their God-given ability or the ability they've worked on so hard their whole life to go to do something special with the ball in their hands. And we've got some guys that can do that.
Oh, just other quarterbacks.
Yeah. Well, I would hope not because I don't want guys to get injured. I would like Nick to come back healthy. I would like Joe to stay healthy. But I think it's important to get those guys some plays, some snaps. Like I said, I would have loved to get them more turns, more snaps. We didn't get off the field on defense when we needed to get off the field on defense to give them more snaps. They need to play through some mistakes. They need to understand, the speed. They've got a lot of learning to do. The only way that they're really going to increase their level of performance is to play. So, I would say if there was one thing that was disappointing to me, and there's several, and I'm a couple, but I wanted to get those guys more snaps. I wanted to get them more snaps, which was in conflict with wanting to get Joe another successful drive coming out in the second half. And so, unfortunately, we just didn't get off the field, give them enough. We didn't stay on the field either on offense in order to get them snaps. Josiah took a shot. He's good now. Well, our doctors will decide where he is and if he's in the protocol or not. As far as slight groin, hopefully we get guys like Malik back this week. Hopefully we get Price back this week. We need those guys back. But I think we came out of it fairly healthy. We rarely come out of any game totally healthy. It's a violent sport.
Okay.
Okay, thanks everyone. Appreciate you.